Well, I think diversification matters even more as you're getting close to retirement. I think about, I'll just make up a name, but like our client Jessie is an example. So she retired at 65. She had 80% of her 401k in her company's stock. And even though she made around 60,000 a year, basically for 42 years, I think she was at like 40 to 60 grand. When she retired, her company had done so well that even though she didn't start saving for retirement until she was 40, because she was a single mom raising two kids, she ended up with a nest egg at 65 of 1.6 million. And again, 80% of that was her company's stock. So we had the conversation, does it make sense to still have 80% of your funds in your company? And even though the company had great performance, she knew and I knew that no matter what the future brought, that if something happened to that company and it impacted 80% of her portfolio, that it was too much risk. So what we ended up doing, Yelisey, obviously, with you managing the money in the market, if you remember, we ended up reducing that stock to about 40%. And then we diversified over time away from it. So she still was able to hold some of the stock that really made her a millionaire. But we were able to make sure that if something did happen with that company, that it didn't impact the fact that she could stay retired. So I think when we talk about diversification, I think it's always important, but it's especially important in your preservation season of life.
Yeah. And I remember how difficult that was for her. And I think one of the challenges is if you've during your investment career, if you've managed to truly pick a winner, and for some people, Apple was that winner. I'm thinking of a specific client too, where they had a huge, and they still have it. Right. Mm-hmm. And we've encouraged them to diversify away from that, not because we're saying, hey, you're going to get a better return. We don't know if you're going to get a better return. What we're trying to do is to protect you from the downside risk that you could experience. But the one thing I would say is all of these conversations are difficult. We grow attached to these funds that in this case for that lady, that client of ours, it made her a millionaire. And one of the things that I've noticed in terms of, how people react or at least the feeling that people have that I just want to caution against is sometimes you end up overestimating your abilities as an investor.